You heard it here first. Knockout Radio.
Hi, my name is Colette Burnett, and this is my OMG interview. I am the CEO of Super Wings New York, and I have been essentially taking the Caribbean and the flavors of the Caribbean to the world since 2009.
Gets tough, Colette Burnett is one to just wing it. She's the owner of 2 Super Wings restaurants that have managed to grow by about 25% despite the tough economy.
My brand, Super Wings, is intent on teaching people about not just the flavors of Trinidad, but also our culture in how we treat our customers and how we interact with the world. I've been in New York since 1996. Was in banking until 2009 and left Bank of America to open my own business back then. We've had some great successes. Thus far, we have won the Best Wings in Brooklyn contest 4 times in a row. We also won the International Best Wings contest up in Buffalo, New York. We have been featured on the Food Network. Also, we're featured on the Cooking Channel, on New York 1, New York 12, won against Bobby Flay back in 2010.
You know what I love about this? You taste the flavor right to the bone.
Yes.
Because you marinate them.
Just about everywhere we can. It's been wonderful. To have that level of success has been really both eye-opening because it explains, and again, the appreciation of our culture and our flavors, but also allowing me to show up in spaces that I never thought was possible has been one of those things that has been my life, one of my biggest blessings in my life. To be able to speak at the UN as a result of having achieved some level of business success, and also to teach other women how to show up in this business space and to feel comfortable doing so, that has been also the most heartening thing for me. What this business has done is allowed me a freedom that I wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have been possible had I been working for any other organization or institution. So for me, allowing that or creating that freedom for others has been one of the things that I really wanted to do, and being able to show up in spaces where I can teach other women and other people how to achieve that level of success, but also how to see themselves as leaders and really create the visions that they want for their lives. That also has been an amazing experience for me. I'm from Shogunas, so my parents still live in Chase Village, and I went to Holy Faith Convent in Couva. So growing up in Shogunas, I was from a very close-knit family, and also my mom and dad are very, very protective. So we grew up, essentially my brothers and sisters were my friends. And also we had a very close network of friends from church. So I still keep very close to those people, and it's probably one of the ways that I stay grounded also, because I have friends who are from way, way back, so I can't get too high up. They will remind me that I'm from Chase Village, and that indeed they will remind me what my nickname is so that I can stay grounded to who I am. And I love that. I love it. Well, I have a 18-year-old son, and one of the things that really shifted my life was my dad's story. My father, back in the 60s, had been incarcerated in YTC for a few weeks. He had thrown a stone and broken somebody's glasses, and he was held. And in that time, he needed some type of intervention. And the person who showed up for him was the person who he was learning a trade with. He's an electrician to this day. And that person came and took his bail and paid for him to get out of YCC. And as a result, my father was able to have a life and show up successful within his life space. And I thought about what that meant for him, having that one person show up and create a window in a wall where he would not have had an opportunity if it wasn't for that person. So when I had the opportunity to become that person for other children, I chose to go back to YTC and share my story, not just my story with them, but also create an opportunity for them to learn things that can help them as they go forward in their life, and to show up as a success as well. So one of the things that we do is teach the boys and girls there at YTC is about what it is like to be an entrepreneur, and also what are the principles that they need to follow in order to show up successful in that sphere. So for the past year or so, I've been working with the Dream Academy, TT, who has decided that YTC is our home, and we go there on a monthly basis and teach the boys whatever we can about leadership. I think it's really important that we serve those who are the most underserved in our community. And those boys and girls who are incarcerated are usually thought of as a nuisance or throwaway people. And instead, I feel like one of the things that we really have to do to impact the crime rate in Trinidad is to get to our boys, specifically our boys who have been so neglected and has been essentially services that are available to them that they are not even aware of. Things that we can do to help them see themselves better and more, that has to be something that is of utmost importance to us. So recognizing that there was a need for us to do something different, not just continue the same pattern of what we have done in the past, because clearly that's not working, we decided to go in and really show them that they matter. And instead of thinking of them as criminals, but think of them as young men and women who, instead of giving them or thinking of them as a burden, instead look at them as our opportunity. That has been a really eye-opening experience for me as well, because it has allowed me to reconnect even with my son in a way that I wouldn't probably have, and understand him and his trials in a different way as well. So I use a lot of my mothering skills, I use all of my entrepreneurship skill, I learn everything that I have been able to experience, even intuition and my understanding about what love does to a person and how it changes their life. I think this opportunity with the youths in YTC has not only been wonderful for them, but it has been wonderful for me. My mom and dad are, again, still in Trinidad in Chase Village, but they're in my heart. I choke up a little bit only because I think they are the reason I am. I couldn't possibly see myself in this manner had they not shown me my own value. And one of the things that I think is why I am successful is because I've always known that I mean a whole lot to my parents. And that knowledge and that foundation has grounded me in ways that it has allowed me to be brave. I didn't have the experience of having trauma. I didn't have the experience of having been broken, so I didn't have to have to rebuild myself. And I know how important that is, having lived for some time and seen so many who have had to recover from their brokenness or from trauma that comes in their family. I can say that that isn't my story. And that's why I feel so lucky. I feel my parents have been my biggest blessings. I've also watched them as business owners. So business was not scary for me because they have been business owners for my entire life. So this was norm. So going into business was like just the next level for me. It's something else that we do. And I watch my brothers and sisters throughout the world do the same. And I know it comes from that foundation of my parents having gone into business and been business owners for all of our lives. It matters so much. My hope for Trinidad and Tobago is that we are able to get a handle on our crime situation first. And secondly, for us to really recognize leaders within our midst who can bring us back from this space that we're in. I hope more than anything that we understand that our differences are what make us really, really strong. And that we, instead of looking at ways to separate ourselves, because I grew up in Chaguanas, and everyone around me was Indian, Chinese, African. It literally was a melting pot, and my friends were from every race. And so seeing how our racial divide has come about as a result of politics, I think has been one of the saddest things to experience as a Trini. And specifically watching it from the outside in, I don't understand how we could have gotten to here when literally roti is as easy for me to eat as a pilau, and I could sit down in a prayers or in a Baptist Thanksgiving just as simply and just as comfortably. So my real prayer is that we understand that our differences are actually our biggest strength, and that we come back to that understanding and get comfortable enough that we could showcase that to the world, because that's our superpower. My point of view being a Trini in America and coming back to Trinidad, one of the things that stands out to me is how little we value our greatness. And I mean that in our people, that we don't see the greatness of our people and we don't celebrate our people at the level that we should. It's similar to being in a college that doesn't recognize its alumni. And when I see that, I feel like we've lost a connection to some of our biggest and best and our brightest and available to us. We should be not just harnessing that, but celebrating our greatness, both internally in Trinidad and externally. Our diaspora should be where we go for our best people. It should be that we respect our greatness at a much better level than we are right now, and recognizing that when I look at Trinidad, I see where we can really serve each other so much better if we understood each other's strengths and really played to them. So I think we're missing out on our greatness. I think we could do a better job. My mentor told me many moons ago that one of the things that we need to do as Caribbean nationals is understand that we are Caribbean. When we think of ourselves, we should be looking at ourselves in a global space. And while Trinidad is always going to be home and is always going to be the core of who we are, our identity should be more globally based. So each one of us, as we are walking out in the world, if we can understand that our picture it enlarges based on how we create or what we say of ourselves. Understanding the power of what the Caribbean brings and how that we can harness that in all of our business dealings and how we walk is very, very important. So while I again, as they say in Trinidad, in navel string always bury in Trinidad, my global view is from a Caribbean space. I would love for us to be able to understand and really take that on as our charge as well, that we fly the flag of the Caribbean as a whole, not just Trinidad. I am most grateful for the ability to do just about anything that I want. That freedom that allows me, it allows me a clear voice. It allows me a space to be honest. It allows me to love freely. And it allows me to see my people and myself at the highest level. That, when I tell you that representation is everything to both our youths, it is that much to me that I get to represent us on the world stage, but I also get to come back home and tell them what it's like to do that. That freedom and the ability to do those things is beyond anything that I could have hoped for. So when I'm asked that question, it is always an amazing thing to get to reflect on that, because it didn't have to be so. But I'm grateful for the fact that I was brave enough to step out, and also that I would work as hard as I can to continue to do this. Whether it's here or in Trinidad, it's my life work, and to get to do that is the biggest blessing anybody could ask for. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to my OMG interview. You can find me on Facebook at Colette Cyrus Burnett, and I look forward to you coming and visiting our store in Point Fortin for some super wings.
You heard it here first. KnockHardRadio.com